Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Neander, the Neanderthal, the Fantasy Caveman. Welcome back in. Good to have you. Good to have you. So, what do we got going on today? Today is going to be the 10th episode. Yes, the 10th episode in our 12-part series. So, we're doing a draft prep series where we're drafting a full team, a PPR mock draft from each one of the 12 positions. Basically just trying to help you get ready for your draft. If you know where you're picking already, if you're picking from the 2 spot or the 6 spot or the 11 spot, how does that change? Who's going to be available to you in each round? How does that change your strategy, if it does at all? For me, it certainly does. And, you're going from there. So, this gives you an idea to see not only some of the guys that I'm targeting in each round, but just gives you a chance to, feel a little bit more comfort that you're not going to tilt hard when the pick comes and some of the guys you wanted are gone, the clock is winding down, and all of a sudden you're choking and you're not sure who to pick, and you make that pick that really hurts your team. So we're going to try to help you not do that at all here. So we are picking with the 10th pick in the draft, and at pick number 10, it's very possible that 8 running backs will be gone, and it's a tough decision to decide, do I want the number 2, wide receiver in my eyes, or do I want the number 9 running back? Do I have to get one of those top running backs, right? So it can be difficult to make that decision here. Let's look at our draft board quickly, see if there are any surprises here in the top 9. Doesn't look like it. McCaffrey, Zeke, Barkley, Kamara, Cook, all's good and well there. Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Derrick Henry. So I'm going to be looking here. Now that 2 wide receivers are gone, that's going to push me back, I think, to running back. And so when I look at this group here, Austin Eckler, Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs, it's definitely a tough one for me. I think I'm going to wind up going with Joe Mixon here. I'm going to look at my rankings here. So, I actually have Mixon ranked as number 11 at the moment, but he's going to be moving up on my board for running backs. He just signed that big contract. They made a commitment to him. You saw how committed they were at the end of the season to running the ball, and I think it's very possible that might happen here. I do have to move Miles Sanders down in my rankings a little bit. I had him at number 5 in PPR, but I'm a little bit concerned now with him and with Boston Scott coming in there. So, I really got to think about who I want here. Josh Jacobs, they're all up there, and that's kind of the point, right? Aaron Jones, they're all there, and it's tough to pick between them. So, I'm actually going Miles Sanders here. I'm going to stay true to my rankings, as I said I would, and we're going to go with Miles Sanders and see who's left to us in the second round. So, all running backs went, and that's the thing here. So now, Mixon, Drake, Eckler, Jacobs, all go. Who's left to me at the running back? Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Todd Gurley, James Conner. So here's the thing. I've got a lot of picks till my next pick after this, right? Almost 20 picks. If I go running back 2, which I very well might, then I'm going to miss out on all these guys right here, right? Obviously these top 3 or 4, but even probably these next 5, because this is where the wide receiver starts to take over, because so many running backs go early and there's so many great wide receivers left that you have this wide receiver running round 3, and I have to wait 10 picks into round 3 before I get one. But also at the same time, while there aren't going to be that many running backs picked, these 2 that create this, tier break for most people will definitely be gone. The question is, will James Conner and Chris Carson be gone? I'm okay with James Conner or Chris Carson as my RB2. So I'm going with Julio Jones. A little bit different than what I might normally do. I think I might normally go Aaron Jones there. Conner and Carson, neither one of them made it back. That's brutal. So let's see what happened here. All right, so after I picked Julio, a little wide receiver run happened. Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, the next 3 big wide receivers. Then the 4 running backs I didn't want to go. The only 4 running backs that went in the next 10 picks, I mean, even more than that, 9, 18 picks, only 4 running backs went. And they're all 4 the ones that I wanted, right? Nick Chubb, James Conner, Aaron Jones, Chris Carson. So now I'm in that situation where I need a running back too. I don't want to wait longer, even though, to me, is there a huge difference between Todd Gurley and some of these other guys? Yes, to me there is, and that is potential and volume and opportunity. I have to go with Gurley and believe that he can be what he was. Looking at my running back rankings, I have Todd Gurley as the running back 13. So, really not that bad. I had Carson at 14, so, I probably would have went with Gurley anyway, to be quite honest with you. So, all right, back to the draft board. All right, so, but we know all those, wide receivers were going to go, so we knew that. The shocking thing here, so I didn't mention this, a little odd at the end of the second round here. Patrick Mahomes went with the last pick in the second round. Travis Kelce went with the first pick in the third round. First time I've seen Travis Kelce in the third round. And then Kittle goes with the very next pick. Lamar Jackson goes after that. So those 4 picks in a row were the 2 top quarterbacks and the 2 top tight ends. And then at the end of the third round, you had the next 2 tight ends go, Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz, which I think is also a little bit odd to have them both go back to back. So a little bit weird pacing here, I feel like, with the teams. Again, I've showed you a couple of times already that it looks like if you have this number 1 pick, you can start your draft like this basically every time with what's widely considered to be the number 1 running back, quarterback, and tight end on your team. And then you have to, struggle for depth, but you've got the top dogs at almost all the positions. So that's a nice feeling. All right, let's move it along here. We've got 2 running backs and a receiver. Look at what's available. Look at what we think about the runs. We're still not picking quarterback yet. 6th round. I'll take one of the next 4 in the 6th round, and that's when I'll think about it. Other than that, we're going to wait. So, going to wait it out. We're not looking at tight end. I always avoid this group, 6 through 8. That's just too early. I like some of them, but I don't want them before the 7th or 8th round, and they're not going that far. So, oh man, so we already had some Bobby trees, but we might be going back that way. I'm going to go. Let's look at my wide receiver rankings here very quickly. All right. I'm going to find out who I truly have higher in my wide receiver rankings. So I have Robert Woods at 10, A.J. Brown at 11. So I do have him higher. Although, Tyler Lockett's still there, who I have at 8. And Gallup way down there, who I have at 7. He's my guy. Whew. So really Lockett, Woods would be my pick. Lockett, there's a while to go. I'm going to wait and hope Lockett comes back to me. Nope. All the guys I would have wanted all just went. Except for Gallup, who I'm going to take you. Well, we'll see. I only have 4 picks to wait. So we're going to see. But in the 6th round, I might want a quarterback. So after I pick Robert Woods, we got a good mix. Amari Cooper going in the 4th round now. Jonathan Taylor, Fournette, Bell, and all the good wide receivers. You see the whole big chunk of them there. All went. All right, so. And Dak Prescott just went the pick before me in the 5th round. So it would be him or Russell Wilson would be my choice of that next tier if I had a choice. All right, what do we have? 2 backs, 2 receivers, yep. So it's really up to us. Whatever way we want to go, we can here. We're not really pushed anyway. We know we only have 4 picks between this pick and our next one, so we will have options there. And yeah, I'm going to wait for Gallup. I'm going to get Cam Akers right now and really just hope Gallup just waits 4 more picks. Oh, come on, man. Really? The pick before I'm back up? All right. The computer knows. The computer knows who I want to pick. That's brutal, man. After I picked Akers, Jarvis Landry, Tyler Boyd, Hollywood Brown, and Michael Gallup. So I got robbed there. So the question now is, I didn't get my wide receiver. Russell Wilson is still there, and this is where I'm thinking about Russell Wilson for sure. I have him as my number 3 quarterback. Is it worth it? I look at the other guys. I still don't want the tight ends. And we're early 6th round. I still don't want the tight ends. And, for me, I can wait because I like a lot of these guys right here. and I can let some of them go. I definitely can. And a lot of these guys are in that same tier, and I'll take one of them that I like in a minute. I'm not going to let Russell Wilson go. He's not going to come back to me with 18 more picks. So, yeah, so here we go. Some tight ends start going, the Waller, Henry, Ingram tier, and then quarterbacks start flying off the board. After mine, Murray, Watson, both go. Matt Ryan in the 6th round, Breeze in the 7th with Wentz and Brady. So you're seeing this trend, right? If you're watching all the episodes, you're seeing this trend where you have Mahomes and Jackson in the 2nd or the 3rd. Then in the 6th round, now you see some in the 5th. But in that late 5th to 6th round, that next 4-pack, Wilson, Watson, Murray, and Prescott. And then after that, you have kind of the older veterans, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Carson Wentz, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers are all going in that like 7th round. So really, it's just happening faster, and that's all right because, if a whole run of quarterbacks happen, you're not missing out on running backs or receivers because they're all picking quarterbacks, right? So that's all right. All right, we have 2 wide receivers and 3 running backs with our quarterback already picked, so we need a tight end and some wide receivers. I'm still going to wait on tight end here. Want to see my favorite of these wide receivers, Marvin Jones, Brandon Cooks, Jameson Crowder, Deontay Johnson. Let's get into my rankings here and see if we can find one of these guys. All right. Deontay Johnson at number 24 for me is the clear pick here. Sterling Shepard at 31. Brandon Cooks at 37. Marvin Jones at 38. Yeah. For me, it definitely looks like Deontay Johnson is the pick. I think that Pittsburgh's going to come back this year. I think Big Ben, I buy the narrative. He looks great. He looks in shape. He had a year off. I kind of buy the narrative. They're going to be throwing the ball, and they're going to be a good team. Their defense is sick. If anything, that amazing defense is the only reason they might not throw as much as they can, just because that defense is locking people down. But I don't know. They still might throw the ball a lot. All right. After Deontay Johnson, Josh Allen, Mostert, Stafford, Montgomery. So here we're in the 8th round. We've got our starters picked. We've got our, at least a flex. We've got 2 flex options, one at the running back, one at the receiver. So we're looking at tight end, and then we're looking at, depth and upside, right? So I'm still going to wait for tight end. No rush there. A lot of guys I like. Let's look at some guys here that I might think, again, Antonio Gibson, huge upside. Now that Cam Newton is definitely the quarterback, and we know Damian Harris now has this new injury, I think James White is someone I really want to look at in PPR especially. When I went back and looked at it, I tried to remember, did Cam Newton throw to the running backs a lot? But I think McCaffrey had his first 100-target season with Cam Newton under center. So that gave me a little bit of that extra, confidence to go with him. All right, let's see here. Look at our roster. What do we got? We can go anywhere. We need just high upside and a tight end. High upside and a tight end. Just look at our cheat sheets. Zach Moss is a name I like. Henry Ruggs. With Tyrell Williams out, I know people are up on Bryan Edwards, and I get it. None of the tight ends went again. So I'm going to go with the guy I love, Henry Ruggs. The thing is, he doesn't need a ton of targets, right, to do his damage. I know this is full point PPR. But with Tyrell Williams out now, I just think that's going to push a little bit more his way. Not a ton. I think it helps everybody. I think it helps Darren Waller. I think it helps Josh Jacobs and Bryan Edwards and Hunter Renfrow. But, for that matter, I think that Ruggs becomes more of a factor, even in full point PPR, where he might have been seen as a, standard only kind of guy, big yards with some touchdowns, but not a lot of receptions. So, all right, now we're in the 10th round, and no tight ends have gone in a full 3.5 rounds. And, Hayden Hurst still there. Tyler Higbee, could be a beast. If it's anything like those last, 5 games last year, Tyler, Higbee's going to be the number 1 tight end in the league. So, I've got, the problem is I've got Hayden Hurst at number 4 in my projections, with Higbee at 7, Jarwin at 8. So I know I can wait and get, Hurst or Blake Jarwin. Not going to help my draft grade any, unfortunately, here. But, I can do that. Also, like some of these running backs here with high upside. You saw I've been drafting Latavius Murray. I was big on DeAndre Swift, and now, the injury, I'm not so sure. Boston Scott could have a big place. You know what? I'm going to go Boston Scott. He's also the insurance policy for my first round running back, Miles Sanders. So it just makes sense. I like to get those insurance policy running backs. All right, we've got 3 picks left. We're going to have 2 pretty quick. After I picked Boston Scott, there was a big mix of tight ends and running backs for the most part. So a lot of those tight ends went, especially the 2 that I mentioned, Higbee and Hurst, along with Gronkowski, Noah Fant, and Jonnu Smith. Might be time to look at that tight end. So I still see Gesicki, Hawkinson, and Jarwin, all who I like. It's probably already hurting my draft grade, but I'm going to go with Gesicki here. Even though I have Jarwin higher technically in my rankings, it's only by 2 spots and by about 4.5 points. So I'm going to go with Gesicki here just to see if it helps my draft grade and try to game the system just a little bit. So, oh well. All right, then Tony Pollard. Adrian Peterson, free agent. Adrian Peterson goes in the 11th. Brandon Ayuk, Alan Lazard. So, I don't have any needs. For me, it's high upside here, if that's what I want to look at. Austin Hooper is just dropping and dropping and dropping. Still available. I'm not grabbing him. I'll grab maybe Hawkinson or Jarwin in the very last round. I'm going to go with just another high upside, late in the draft kind of guy. Chris Thompson in full PPR. We don't know what's happening in Jacksonville's backfield. All we know is Raekwon Armstead and Chris Thompson are there. We know that Jay Gruden is there. And we know that Chris Thompson is Jay Gruden's guy. So, as much as I love, Paris Campbell and some of these other receivers, I'm going to pull the trigger on Chris Thompson here. Wait till the draft board comes back around for our last pick. Maybe we'll get a tight end. Maybe we won't. Jared Cook in the 12th. Oh, Goddard, Jarwin, and Hawkinson in a row in the 13th. So maybe I won't take a backup tight end. Maybe I'll take another running back. Who's out there for tight ends? Chris Herndon. I like Herndon better than Doyle, better than Ebron. But Bryce Love. I like Bryce Love. I like Antonio Gibson and I like Bryce Love. We don't know who's going to start. We don't know who's going to be, healthy. Also have Paris Campbell here. Let's see how many players I have in each position here. That might make the decision for me. 3, 6 running backs already. And 4 wide receivers. So I think I'm going to go with wide receiver here. I know I like Mecole Hardman. He's gone, right? Yep. Paris Campbell is going to be my guy. All right. See what our draft grade is. What? All right. We got a B at 84. Man. So, all right. Let's look at our team and see what we think. Man, Kyle Yates again, 94. So he's loved my last 2 teams that I picked from the later spots. Hated all my other teams. 83 and 81 from the other guys. Screw you guys. Nah. All right, so Russell Wilson. Can't complain about that. Took him in the 6th. Maybe a touch early. But I don't know if that's affecting my draft grade. I really don't know if going quarterback semi-early is affecting it. Maybe in this next draft, I'll really wait. I'll just grab Roethlisberger or something like that. All right, running backs. Miles Sanders, Todd Gurley, Cam Akers, Boston Scott, James White, and Chris Thompson. So I guess if you're looking at a weakness, this could be it, right? Question marks everywhere. Miles Sanders, will he be, the majority, leader of carries? He's probably going to get most of the passing work, but how involved will Boston Scott be? Todd Gurley, will he hold up? And if he holds up, how involved will he be? No question about, some of these bench guys here having upside. I mean, Cam Akers, James White, Boston Scott, Chris Thompson. Lots of upside there. I mean, if Cam Akers isn't the starter week 1, that's fine. He's in my flex. And I can put James White in there, to start the season. Or Deontay Johnson. So let's look at my wide receivers. Julio Jones and Robert Woods. I mean, what are you going to say about that? Those are like 25 targets every week, almost guaranteed between the two of them. Deontay Johnson, Henry Ruggs, Paris Campbell. So they're not the most depth, but I think that's a wicked wide receiver group there. Mike Gesicki as my tight end, late pick. A lot of upside. People love Gesicki, so, 84 seems just a little bit low to me. I mean, I can see that 87, maybe not the best team ever. Let's look at what they say. I'm right in the middle here of everything. So, 5th highest scoring team by projections, 6th highest scoring starters, and 5th highest scoring bench. So not as high as I usually do with the bench there. But that's all right. That's not a bad draft. I like this team. It's really not a bad team. We need a lot to go right though, and that's just the truth. The truth is the running backs I have on this roster have got to come through for this team to have a chance. The wide receivers will be fine. My quarterback will be fine. But Miles Sanders, Todd Gurley, Cam Akers, James White, I need at least 2 of those guys, at least 2, to be very good, to be like top 18, kind of guys. And if they're not, then this team definitely can struggle for sure. So, I'm all right with this team. Again, not the best, not the worst, not my favorite. But the number 10 spot, again, it's tough to make that decision. I went with Julio Jones in the 2nd. I probably would have gone running back if I did it again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the 11th spot, right? So that's going to be next. We're going to work on the 11th spot next. So please join us for that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. As always, if you're listening, you can listen to us on any of the major platforms: Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and a bunch of other ones as well. So you can listen to us wherever you are, in your car, while you're shopping. You can do whatever you want and get your fantasy football fix from the GOAT. We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good day. Thanks again for joining us. All right, gonna find the theme music. Take it.